In this video, we will evaluate a statement that has some quantitative information. In a recent study of high school athletics, most ACL injuries occurred in female athletes, although 3 out of every 4 injuries were to male athletes. Does this mean female athletes are more likely to get injured than male athletes, or the opposite? How can we interpret the information in this sentence? Let's take this phrase first. 3 out of every 4 injuries were to male athletes. We can make up some numbers to support that phrase. Let's choose 12 injuries to male athletes, 4 to female athletes, for a total of 16. And we have this ratio 3 out of every 4, or 3 male injuries for every 1 female injury. So 12 to 4 is a proportional ratio. Is it possible that the first phrase is also true? Most ACL injuries occurred in female athletes? Well, sure, it's possible that maybe 3 or 4 were ACL injuries here, but it doesn't mean that there were more on the male side. So we have a scenario that could even support both sentences. Do we have enough information to conclude this third question, or to have any information that's relevant to this question? Well, one important piece of information that's missing would be a reference value, some number that represents all the athletes, or all the males, or how many females. We don't have any information about exactly how many of any of these groups. So it's actually possible to create scenarios to illustrate that men would be more likely to be injured, or also that female would be more likely to get injured. If we assume that there were 60 male athletes and 60 female athletes, then males, 12 out of 60 is 1 out of 5. For females, 4 out of 60 would be 1 out of 15. So if our reference values were that there were 60 total male athletes and 60 total female athletes, then it would be more likely 1 in 5 that a male athlete is injured than a female athlete, 1 in 15. But what if we had these different reference values? Because there were larger male teams, so more male athletes than female athletes. Now the 12 male injuries are out of 120 total athletes, 1 in 10. The 4 female injuries were out of 36 total female athletes, and that's 1 out of 9. So those reference values would support that female athletes are more likely to be injured than male athletes. So when we're dealing with quantitative information, we'd like to be able to create some scenarios, some actual numbers that could work with the information that's being described, and use that information, or the lack of other information, to show how much we really know about this statement. So we can tell that a particular injury is more likely to occur in the female athletes compared to male athletes, and we know that the majority of injuries are found in male athletes, but beyond that, we cannot say about who is more likely to get injured. And key missing information are these reference values. How many athletes, how many males, and how many females are we actually looking at?